I'm back here to tell you a story. A story what started in 1979. 1979. The days of Margaret Thatcher. Apocalypse Now in the cinemas. Phantasm. You ever see that? The flying ball. And Mad Max.
It was my movie.
No, I'm
Not
not
bloody
talking
Mel
about you.
Gibson. Me.
You
Mac
got mad, but
Billman.
you wasn't Mel Gibson.
A superhero.
Mad Max. 1979. Yeah, I know you were born.
What do you mean?
You were
That
born in
was
the
me.
18th century, I think. The year is 1979, the days of Margaret Thatcher, the strikes and threats of a nuclear war. What's changed? Nothing. What? Going back to 1979, my life got changed.
Many years ago, a long time ago, I was working in the operating theatres, Heathrow Hospital. I was an ODO. If you want to know what that means, you'll have to look it up, because I'm not telling you.
Because you're that old, you don't remember.
You just can't shut up.
A mate of mine came up to me. He creaked, and said, "You know your mate Neville?" And I said, "He's not really a mate, he's someone I know." Anyway, he said, "You know your mate Neville? He's just left my disco. I run a mobile disco, and he's just left. He's got a job with Barry Dye. He was the big agent at the time. I did get to know. Had left his disco because Mr. Dye had sent him to Berwick, up in Scotland, as a professional DJ." Oh dear, that's a joke on its own. Yeah. Anyway, Robert said to me, "Steve, I need a hand. You ain't got to do a lot. Just help me carry the stuff in and out and do what you want." And work on a disco with him. And I said, "No," because I never ever in my thoughts, in my head, that I would ever want to do discos, be a DJ. I never thought of that. Bank robber, I've thought of. Skydiving, car racing.
Talk!
Anyway, in the end, I said, "All right, I'll come with you this one night and help." The disco was at the Flying Horse pub. I think that's still there today. Upstairs. I can't remember what the actual show was. It may have been a birthday party or a wedding. I think it may have been a birthday party. And it went absolutely brilliant. They couldn't believe that I wasn't professional DJ because I was that good that night. And the bug got me. The disco bug. The entertainment bug. It's like a drug. It put you on a high. And after the shows, it's hard to come down. You have to walk up and down. Because if you do a good show, it gets you. Any DJs out there who listen to this will know that. It gets you. Even though I don't know how many DJs out there now actually DJ. They just mix. Well, the shows I've seen, they just mix. Anyway, we talked on the mic, we're going to do stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I done another couple more shows with him. And then out of the blue, boom, 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 Neville came back. He'd been sacked from Berwick. And I don't think Barry Dye ever gave him any more work. He did me. So Neville had been sacked. And with a bit of help from Robert's father, they asked Neville to go back to the disco. which means I was fired. For the first time in my life, I'd been fired. And the last time. But I enjoyed it that much. I decided I would start up my own mobile disco. Now, considering this is 1979, I wasn't driving. I only had a motorbike, and you can't really put gear on the back of a motorbike. Well, I suppose you could, but you won't get a lot. And I wanted it, but I couldn't drive. I didn't have a driving license, so there was the big problem. So I thought in time I can learn to drive and get a van and stuff, which I did do. The first thing I ever got was a mic stand. Yep, a mic stand. And I would put that stand in the middle of the room and look at it and talk through it. And then I got a mic, not this one. I got a mic. It may have been this one, a high and low impedance mic. It's not brilliant, but it works. Da-da-dang. See how big it is to my head? It's huge, isn't it? Thank you. I haven't got a big head.
You have got a big head.
You wasn't in
And
Mad
I
Max.
was.
You wasn't. Shut up. Shut up. So, I started up my own disco. I got a mic, mic stand. And then I got a deck with 250 watt amp in it, I think, speakers. And we built some lights. We had somebody, with a bit of help from Robert, he helped me get somebody to paint a mural for the show, which is there. I hope you like it. I haven't got it. I don't know what happened to it. At the Spiral Road Show, the show which will never end. I can't remember my actual first show. It must have been good because I put all the money back into it. Never made a penny out of discos because it's not a cheap thing to run. At the time, we were using things called vinyl records. Yep, vinyl records. You got a bouncy place, they would jump all over the place, so you had to use tapes. Vinyl records and cassette tapes. That's what we were using. I think a record at times like 50 odd p, which is cheap. And Neville came up to me and said, "Can he have a job with me?" So in my wisdom and stupidity, I said, all right, because he had a lot more experience than me. And I've done some discos with Neville and Robert. We combined the two shows together. Another friend of mine called Richard, he was a very good DJ, ended up with his own show, came with us. He was also a singer and songwriter, and he was really good. Unlike Neville, who was a singer and songwriter. Some of his songs were all right, but as a singer and a guitar player, say no more. He was fucking shit. But he thought he was good. one night we're doing a disco, and I looked about, and where was Neville? He wasn't there. He was nowhere to be seen. We were packing all the gear up, and then he arrived. And it wasn't the first time he'd done that. He sort of hid in the toilet at the end of the night. Let me say that again. He hid in the toilet at the end of the night so he didn't have to do any more work. And the time I got back to mine and we unloaded the stuff because we overhired a van or got someone to drive it for us, and Richard was with us, and Richard and Neville started an argument. So Richard, well, smacked him, and I fired him, Neville, and I've never worked with him since, and I never will again. I don't know where he is now, and I don't care. So 1979, we had Blondie in the charts, we had Donna Summers, we had the Bee Gees, we had Rod Stewart, and the Village People, who I did do a show with later. And UB40 was formed. They didn't have their big hits till 1980, but they were coming up. Seen Ali Campbell a few times, and he is absolutely fantastic. And pray for Astro, who's not with us anymore. Such a shame, because he was, well, he was reggae, wasn't he? I mean, reggae's Ali Campbell, British reggae anyway. Of course, we had Bob Marley, Queen, making music, giving music for me to play. We had disco records, Bee Gees singing stuff, and Donna Summer feeling fine. The disco went on. I had a few people working for me. At the time, I had obviously Richard, who was really good. I had Chris Baker, who was very good. Who else? There's more. I had Stephen. He drove the disco sometimes, and he was sort of on and off with me for years and years. And there's a story about his wife later in one of these shows. Loved Karen. So that was the people who worked with me. There was more, but some of them aren't worth mentioning because they come one night and that was it, because they weren't very good. As I say, discos aren't for everybody. The work, it's a lot harder than you think. It's not just glorified getting up there playing music and flashing lights. It's a lot more to it than that. It's the wiring up. And I have got a video which I'll put on one of the other shows, and it show you all the wires on the show. And there's a lot. About 1979 was the beginning of my disco career. The next disc will be the 80s, and didn't we have some horrible music in the 80s? But we had some good ones as well. I'll see you then. For me. And him.